Gavana wa Meru aweza kuhudhuria kikao cha magavana wakiweza kusikiliza kuweza kutolewa kwake kazi kutokana na kura ya wengi iliweza kupiwa na wawakilishi wodi katika kaunti ya Meru. Karibu sana ndani ya SM Trends. Hakikisha kwamba unazidi kutufuatilia kwa faida ya kupata hizi na stori zingine nyingi punde zinapotokea. Maswali mengi yanaweza kuulizwa kuhusu utendakazi wa gavana huyo wa Meru, kama kazi anayoifanya katika kaunti ya Meru inastahiki. Inakumbukwa kwamba gavana huyo alipata kushtakiwa ama kuweza kuondolewa tena kwenye mamlaka baada ya mwaka ulioweza kupita, na sasa hivi ameweza kurejeshwa katika sehemu hiyo wakati wa pili, ambapo hatujapata kuelewa kwamba itazidi kuwa namna gani, lakini baadhi tu ya stori ambazo zinatufikia ni kwamba magavana wanapata kusikiliza zile sababu ambazo zimeweza kufanya wawakilishi wodi katika kaunti hiyo kuweza kumtoa kwenye mamlaka. Hebu tupate kusikiliza.
As you note and has been pointed out previously, this was a case filed against the governor together with two other officials. And whenever this order or even the ruling before it talks about the respondents, every reference to the respondents in this order is a reference to the three persons who include the governor. And therefore, where a court, as you find in page 441, it says the respondents who we agree include the governor, paragraph 1 at page 441, the respondents are hereby cited for contempt of this court's order issued on 7th October 2022 by failing to allow the applicants back to their offices. Unless the governor says she was not one of the respondents who are condemned here, then she is one of the people who are condemned, and it is not necessary that she be specifically mentioned when they have been found jointly and severally, that's the legal language, jointly and severally culpable.
Senator Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, mine is a very quick clarification or guidance from the Council of the Governor. When you look at Article 183, functions of the county executive, which encompasses county governor, county deputy governor, and CECs, I invite him to give me an interpretation of Article 183 in the interest of time, Part C. It says, and allow me, Mr. Speaker, sir, to read, a county executive committee shall, 1, Part C, manage and coordinate the functions of the county administration and its departments. So I want to get clarification and maybe guidance from the council on the part of the interpretation on the role of the county executive or county committee member. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Council, did you get that correctly?
Wrongdoing in law is not collective. It's in that respect that we beseech the county assembly to give us a case that shows the individual wrongdoing of the governor or the imputability of the acts of any other functionary in the county government to the governor. The governor is here on trial. You try people for their wrongdoing, and that's my humble view. And thank you so much.
Not talking just about specific acts of the government, it is also talks about complicity and condoning. If we were in a court of law, we would call it aiding and abetting. But because it's not a court of law, that's why we have chosen the language complicity and connivance in things. First of all, it's a program, it's a session held by the governor. And if that were the law, even in a court of law, Mr. Speaker, and our laws on ethics and integrity, there is indeed, if you see the laws we have cited, a provision for acting through others. And in this case, we want to suggest to you that the governor was acting, as was the case before when we were here, through her husband. Thank you.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like the Council for the County Assembly to help me, and I'm happy to be reminded that he teaches law to our children. Mr. Speaker, the country has seen in that video that the governor of Meru was not in that video. Her voice was not heard in that video. So what I would like you to help me, teacher of law, is the legal high standard of fishing expedition. Would you like to stand down that video purely because your witness has confirmed to this Senate and the whole Republic that the governor was not there, her voice was not heard? And if you still stand that you don't want to stand down the evidence, do you want to teach students at the university that they can edify something that lacks moral and intellectual instruction to our council?
Baadhi tu ya masuala ambayo yameweza kumkumba gavana huyo ni kwamba ameweza kutumia mamlaka yake vibaya. Vile vile ameweza kuajiri watu kutokana na ukoo, kati ya mengine mengi yaliyoweza kufanyika. Lakini pia ameweza kusemekana kwamba anaweza kumtumia mume wake kuweza kufanya vitu vingi katika kaunti hiyo, na kwa hivyo sheria inaweza kuchukua mkondo wake. Baadhi ya sababu hizo ambazo zilifanya wawakilishi wadi kuweza kuchukua hatua zao ndo ambazo zinapata kusikilizwa hapa na kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba zinatathminiwa na kuweza kuonekana kama kweli ni baadhi ya masuala ambayo yanafanyika, na kama yanafanyika basi gavana huyu atapata kuchukuliwa hatua. Gavana Mwangaza anaweza kuhudhuria vikao hivi huku akiwa na wawakilishi wake wakiweza kumtetea, lakini yeye mwenyewe amekaa pale akiweza kutazama kwamba mazungumzo haya yanaelekea wapi na yanakwenda namna gani. Hebu tupate kusikiliza upande wa mashtaka unasema kitu gani.
The husband is seen on the video saying, "These officers shall never return to office, court order or no court order." And true to his utterance, the governor ensures that they don't return for a full 365 days. And while at it, Mr. Speaker, in any event, I keep repeating, there is a conviction as we speak. And that conviction is res judicata. That is to say, that matter is closed as a legal question because it has not been appealed to a higher court within the time required by law. So as we speak right now, the governor is actually a convict. And those are not my words. There is a court order to that effect.
Now, honorable senators, we have 6 more witnesses to call. And if you read the program, we are supposed to stretch it to 7 p.m. And therefore, I will take one clarification from this side and another one here. Most of these clarifications, you'll pick them as we hear the witnesses. Senator Haji Faki.
Mine is to both the council and council for the county assembly and the witness. There were proceedings before the High Court in Meru where the county secretary, according to the judgment and according to the ruling, was found to be guilty of contempt. and the matter is still ongoing. The punishment has not been meted. Now, isn't that subjecting the governor to a double jeopardy? Because he is facing the proceedings before the court in Meru are still alive. And counsel for the governor said earlier that they were actually in court this morning. And here we are, you want us to impeach the governor based on the same set of facts. Isn't this a double jeopardy, which in law is not allowed? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, that's a legal question. I heard it was addressed to both me and the witness. I don't know whether the witness is able to answer.
Proceed. He belongs to your side. You can answer for him.
First of all, Mr. Speaker, it is not correct to say that the question of whether the governor is guilty of contempt is in court. What is in court is the question of sentencing. The question of liability is settled. The only other thing that is in court is the question of purging the contempt. So there is no question of double jeopardy. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, the rule of double jeopardy does not apply to proceedings of impeachment. There are several rulings by the Supreme Court itself that says, and I can quote the Sonko case, the Martin Nyaga-Wambora case, that say impeachment is not about civil or criminal liability. It is about political accountability. It is about ethics. It is about the type of leadership, the type of persons we want to hold certain offices. And that is why you find the Article 181 is about may be removed on any of the following, and it talks of gross misconduct. Gross misconduct need not even be a criminal or civil offense. It can be anything that attracts serious moral censure. It talks of gross violation of the Constitution or other law. And in short, all we are saying, the Supreme Court has already answered this question of double jeopardy. And that is why even the Court of Appeal itself and the High Court in Meru, guided by the Supreme Court, refused to stop this Senate from sitting on these charges and making it whatever decision it will make, because the courts have already confirmed it is not about legalese and splitting legal heirs or civil or criminal liability. It's a question whether